Chapter 2. Caleb and Papa and I wrote letters to Sarah, and before the ice and snow had melted from the fields, we all received letters. Mine came first. Dear Anna, yes, I can braid hair and I can make stew and bake bread, though I prefer to build bookshelves and paint. My favorite colors are the colors of the sea, blue and gray and green, depending on the weather. My brother William is a fisherman, and he tells me that when he is in the middle of a fog-bound sea, the water is a color for which there is no name. He catches flounder and sea bass and bluefish. Sometimes he sees whales. And birds, too, of course. I am enclosing a book of seabirds, so you will see what William and I see every day. Very truly yours, Sarah Elizabeth Wheaton. Caleb read and read the letter so many times that the ink began to run and the folds tore. He read the book about seabirds over and over. Do you think she'll come? Asked Caleb. And will she stay? What if she thinks we're loud and pesky? You are loud and pesky, I told him. But I was worried too. Sarah loved the sea, I could tell. Maybe she wouldn't leave there after all to come where there were fields and grass and sky and not much else. What if she comes and doesn't like our house? Caleb asked. I told her that it was small. Maybe I should have told her it was small. Hush, Caleb, hush. Caleb's letter came soon after with a picture of a cat drawn on the envelope. Dear Caleb, my cat's name is Seal because she is gray like the seals that swim offshore in Maine. She is glad that Lottie and Nick send their greetings. She likes dogs most of the time. She says their footprints are much larger than hers, which she is enclosing in return. Your house sounds lovely, even though it is far out in the country with no close neighbors. My house is tall, and the shingles are gray because of the salt from the sea. There are roses nearby. Yes, I do like small rooms sometimes. Yes, I can keep a fire going at night. No, I do not know if I snore. Seal has never told me. Very truly yours, Sarah Elizabeth. Did you really ask about fires and snoring? I asked, amazed. I wish to know, Caleb said. He kept the letter with him, reading it in the barn and in the fields and by the cow pond, and always in bed at night. One morning early, Papa and Caleb and I were cleaning out the horse stalls and putting down new bedding. Papa stopped suddenly and leaned on his pitchfork. Sarah has said she will come for a month's time if we wish her to, he said, his voice loud in the dark barn, to see how it is, just to see. Caleb stood by the stall door and folded his arms across his chest. I think, he began. Then, I think, he said slowly, that it would be good to say yes, he finished in a rush. Papa looked at me. I say yes, I told him, grinning. Yes, said Papa. Then yes it is. And the three of us, smiling, went to work again. The next day, Papa went to town to mail his letter to Sarah. It was rainy for days, and the clouds followed. The house was cool and damp and quiet. Once I set 4 places at the table, then caught myself and put the extra plate away. 3 lambs were born, one with a black face. And then Papa's letter came. It was very short. Dear Jacob, I will come by train. I will wear a yellow bonnet. I am plain and tall. Sarah. What's that? Asked Caleb excitedly, peering over Papa's shoulder. He pointed. There, written at the bottom of the letter. Papa read it to himself. Then he smiled, holding up the letter for us to see. Tell them I sing, was all it said.
Questions for Chapter 2. Instructions. Please do the problems only when they are assigned. I will not assign them all at one time. Instruction number 2. Be sure to use 2 vocabulary words in each sentence from the list at the bottom. Underline the vocabulary words. Instruction 3. Be sure to use one of the past tenses, that's the past simple or the perfect past with the helper verb, of one of the irregular verbs listed at the end here in every sentence. Underline the verb. Instruction 4. Make each sentence at least 15 words long. I'm not interested in a lot of sentences. I'm interested in your writing complete thoughts. And instruction number 5, put the homework in a separate sheet of paper so you can hand it in so I can grade it and give it back to you so you can put it in your notebook. Question number 1. How old do you think Caleb and Anna are? The book doesn't tell you. Take a guess and say why you think what you think. Question 2. Sarah's answer letter seems to have come fairly quickly. Don't you think so? They don't tell you exactly how long, but something in the book gives you a clue. What is it? Question 3. How are the colors where Sarah lives in Maine different than where Caleb and Anna live on the prairie? The prairie, by the way, is the steppe or a plain. You need to know those words. Question 4. From the letter she wrote to Caleb, how do you know that Sarah is not an ordinary woman or an ordinary girl? Question 5. Do you like to eat the kind of fish that Sarah's brother William catches? Do you even know what they all are? Question number 6. Describe something funny you saw a seabird like those in the book that Sarah gave Caleb do here in Kiev. Sarah describes what her brother did for a living. Now, what does she do for a living? How was Sarah's life different from that of a woman today? Question 8. What does it mean the ink began to run? Did you need a dictionary to figure it out? Question number 9. From the letter she wrote to Anna and Caleb, do you think Sarah would have been bothered by pesky children? Question number 10. Describe something annoying that a pesky child that you know did. Do you think most children are pesky sometimes? Question 11. Caleb was worried that their house was small. How do you picture his house? How would you compare Caleb's house with a village house you've seen in Ukraine? Sarah drew a picture of the cat in a letter she sent to Caleb. Have you ever sent a paper letter by Ukroposhta, or do you communicate mainly by email, Facebook, and telephone. Do you draw pictures to send to people? Please draw a picture in this homework if you feel like it. What questions did Caleb ask Sarah that Anna thought were not the right thing to ask? Question 14. Why does a farm have a cow pond? If you don't know, make a guess. Question 15. Jacob, Caleb, and Anna were all working together in the barn when Jacob told them that Sarah was coming. Have you ever shared work with your mother and father this way? Tell us about it. How do you know that all three of them, Jacob, Caleb, and Sarah, and Anna, were happy that Sarah was coming? Question 17. Why do you think Sarah thought it was important to tell Jacob she was plain? Do you think a woman should be that honest, or should she let a man make up his own mind whether she's good looking or not? Question 18. What was written at the bottom of the letter that Sarah sent to Jacob? How do you think everybody in the family felt about that last sentence? Question 19. Sarah wrote that she would wear a yellow bonnet to the train station. Do you think that was necessary? Why not? And question 20. Do you think what Maggie and Sarah did, traveling a long way to meet unknown men they might marry, was a brave thing to do? Why do you think they did it? These are the vocabulary words that first appear in chapter 2. The numbers are the pages that they appear on. Please use 2 of these words in each of the sentences that you create. These are the irregular verbs you need to practice for grammar. The first one, like be, is the present tense. The second ones, in that case, was and were, is the simple past. And the third one, in the case of be, it's been, is the past continuous. So please use one of these irregular verbs in each sentence. Underline it in the sentence so I can see it. Please use the past or the past continuous. In other words, instead of begin, use began or begun. Instead of I begin something, write I began something or I had begun something. Thank you. And that's it for the homework. Good luck with it. Thank you.